Well, hello everyone. So today we have an Xbox One. When I pulled it out of the box, it wasn't put back together properly. The side of it here came off. So I am assuming that somebody has disassembled said device. But we're going to plug it in and we're going to see what it says. I'm going to pay attention to the light to see if the light gives me any indication. The light on the power brick. I want to see what it does. Make sure it's not gonna, I can't see, bro. So it turns green and it stays green. So that's a good indication that oh no, it went off. Well, that's fine though, right? I think that's typically how they're supposed to do. You plug it in, the 5 volts gets distributed, creates the 3.3, the 1.8, then it produces the 12 volts, signified by that green, I believe. So this thing should be ready to power on. So we will plug in our HDMI, and we will give this thing a test. I wasn't expecting to get this far, so I didn't have the HDMI cable plugged in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let's move this out of the way for now. We'll go ahead and power it on. Switch over to our other scene. I do not get video out, it looks like. It's like it doesn't even detect that there's anything in there. So yeah, it powers on just fine, but I'm not getting video. I think I hear the hard drive maybe. So yeah. What would cause it to not produce video? I suppose a hard drive could. I hear something weird in there going on. I'm going to power this off. So I'm going to take this apart, have a look, see at what's going on in there. I don't know, I can't, looking at this the sticker, I can't tell if it's ever been opened before or not. Come on, focus, bud. I don't know. Let's take it apart. And let's see what happens now. Yeah, so I'm still not getting anything. So let's turn that back off. Let's pull the hard drive out. I don't see an HDMI encoder unless it's on the back side of the board. Alright, let's look on the back. See now. No, there's no... I don't think this board has an HDMI encoder. I think that all of the HDMI would be provided from the processor or the APU, whatever it's called. Unless one of these components in this area right here are bad. So I suppose we can go under the microscope and probe around and see, because you can see all of the lines come back and they all tie, they go through here. We'll measure around and see what we see. Alright, so let's we'll check the pins. Now the pins all seem solid. That HDMI port looks perfect. Those are all good. So these are resistors. Looks like those are all 500 ohm resistors. These capacitors are in line. And I'm getting a resistance. It's a high resistance, but I am getting, if they were open, I should get infinite. So I don't think they're open. So I'm going to assume that those are good. Then it comes down to a via. Then it goes to the back side of the board. And where they would come up is like right in here somewhere. So I don't really see. Looks like that they would come up around here. Or maybe here. Somewhere in there. The one thing I will say is that it doesn't look like it's not detecting that I have anything plugged in at all. So it could be a voltage issue. I could be missing voltage somewhere. Let's trace these right here. Pin 19 on HDMI is what, 5 volts, right? Let's pull up the HDMI specification. Alright, so pin 19 is hot plug detect, and pin 18 is 5 volts. So, what do you say we plug it in and see if we can measure the 5 volts on pin 18? Because that should come from the board, if I remember correctly. So let's do that. Alright, so I have it plugged in. I've got one probe on ground. The other probe is here, and I'm measuring 0.264 volts. Let's check pin 19, 0.261 volts. Now, when I power it on, let's measure it again. I'm getting 0.265 volts, and on hot plug detect, I'm getting 0.262 volts. All right, so let's plug in the CD-ROM. Actually, do you need the CD-ROM? Maybe I can try plugging in the hard drive. Plug in power, or plug in the hard drive. We'll lay that over there. Now, let's power it back on. Let's plug it back in with the hard drive plugged in. Let's remeasure our pin 18 and 19. Alright, so I got 0.265 and I've got 0.262. Yeah, so let's turn it on. Alright, so we'll measure hot plug. That hard drive scared me, man. So I'm still getting 0.265 on pin 18, and I'm getting 0.262 on pin 19. That hard drive doesn't sound too healthy. Anyhow, so I'm not getting voltage. So let's go ahead and plug in our. We're going to plug in our CD drive, and let's see if we get anything different with that plugged in. I doubt it, but you never know. So when it turned off, we'll measure voltage. This is pin 19.265. 0.263. Let's turn it on. Alright, so let's measure voltage again. 0.265 and 0.262, and trying to switch to, so I'm missing my 5 volts. That's what the issue is. So could a defective hard drive prevent me from getting my 5 volts? Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I doubt it, but hey, what do I know? I'm a dude trying to learn, so let's try to turn this thing off. But you would think, even without a hard drive plugged in, I could still, well, I don't know. I don't know. Let's unplug it. Let's put a different hard drive in there. I'll just put a random hard drive in there, and see what happens. So let's disconnect this. Alright, we will. That's the thing that throws me off about these game consoles, is sometimes they have like a weird boot sequence that, you know, if you neglect to, if you have a defective, something that you wouldn't think would matter, to this it does matter, you know. But again, I think I'm missing my 5 volts because there's a faulty component somewhere. I'm going to take this Western Digital Blue. It does not have any software loaded to it. As a matter of fact, it might have original Xbox software loaded on it from the last video I did, trying to figure out that madness. Alright, let's plug this in. And the only reason I'm changing the hard drive is because that hard drive sounds rough. That's the only reason why I'm wasting time doing this. I don't think this is the issue, but I'd rather know for certain than get halfway finished with this and realize I have to switch back to the microscope. Alright, so power's applied and still the same. So let's turn it on. Let's measure voltage. You gotta be kidding me, dude. Is it really gonna display an image? So I don't know what's going on right now. When I powered it on this time, it automatically was detected by the HDMI switcher. So it's definitely detecting it now, whereas it wasn't before with that old hard drive. I don't know if it's going to take a super long time to maybe show the Xbox logo, or do I need to boot this in safe mode, or what? I don't know how that works. So I've let this sit here for a good long while. I'm going to put it back together so that I can attempt to boot it up in safe mode. I don't know how to do that with it apart. So when I have it all back together, I'll see you then. Alright, so I've got the Xbox back together. So we'll go ahead and power it on. Check it one more time to make sure we're still getting video out. So does the jet cut it on or no? Alright, so we'll cut it on. We'll go over to our screen capture. Oh my goodness. So now it's working. So I'm getting an error E200. So I need to install the software onto the hard drive. So I got to figure out how to do that. And then we'll do that. And then this. Alright, so I've got my controller hooked up. I have my thumb drive in the back. And I loaded it with OSU 3. I'm not sure which one. They're confusing me with the OS. So for the original Xbox, it's saying to use either your OSU2 or OSU3 if you have a specific build, and then OSU2 for all others. But I was already putting OSU3 on the thumb drive, so this probably isn't going to work. I'm probably going to have to go do OSU2, but hey, we'll see which one it's supposed to be. So I'm assuming I would go down to troubleshooter, and I would do an offline system update. Something went wrong. Okay, something went wrong. Wow. Let's try resetting the Xbox. Let's remove everything. Okay, it's preparing the console. So when something changes, I'll let you know. Alright, so we're back at this screen. So I am going to go put OSU2 on the thumb drive. I shall return. Alright, so I put OSU2 on there. So we'll see, we'll go down to troubleshoot. We'll go over to offline system update. Something went wrong, dude. What is going on with this thing? I don't know what to do at this point. Nothing's working, man. And I can't use OSU1, right? Because it specifically states that you have to use. Man, I hope I don't have to format that hard drive, bro. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. So the last Xbox I had, it was a Xbox Series something, and it was a digital version. It was white. Dude, I tried like 4 different hard drives before I found one that would work in that stupid thing, man. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. So yeah, I don't know if this is an issue with, because these things are finicky with hard drives, or if let me try OSU1, I guess, and we'll see how that works. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, dude. Alright, so that's 2 beeps. Alright, now we're in safe mode. No, dude, what happened? I didn't do anything, bro. Y'all, I don't know how to do this. All right, let me go put OSU2 back on here. All right, so now we're gonna try OSU2 again in safe mode, and something went wrong, bro. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little secret. I despise Xbox and their ridiculous hard drive changing. It's just nonsense, man. In a PS4, in a PS3, throw a hard drive in, stick a USB drive in, it starts updating. Easy. Simple. Boy, with these Xboxes, they're quite frustrating. Alright, so I'm going to take that hard drive out. I'm going to format that hard drive. Completely removing everything. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so I got a 1 terabyte hard drive that I had laying around. Plugged it into my computer. Formatted it as NTFS, checked it in Crystal Disk Info. It said it was good, so I am going to attempt to install OSU2 onto this. So let's do that. Alright, we're still in safe mode, and that's okay. We're going to go down to troubleshoot, offline system update. Something went wrong. Dude, I don't get it. I don't know what the deal is. What do I need to do? So let's reset this Xbox, remove everything. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to go back to this drive, format it, and then see what happens then. Alright, so I've deleted all of the volumes off of this disk. This is a 500 gig disk. Shows up as good, like all of them. I'm going to turn it back on. And let's see if we can get something going. Well, it's doing something different this time at least. It automatically started to prepare the console. And I still have OSU 2 on the thumbstick. Nope. Did nothing. Alright, I don't know, dudes. I do not know. Alright, so after 3 days and a lot of pain, I want to show you something. I'm going to cut the console on. I'm going to head over to the capture card. So as you can see, I am at the, hey, let's hit the A button screen. And then I can go through the setup. So I'm going to show you on the computer what I did to get from where I was at to where I am now. And I'm going to try to use, this is the 500 gig hard drive. So I'm going to do this on a 1 gig hard drive or a 1 terabyte hard drive, and then see if it works. So let's go over to the computer. First, let me switch back to the camera. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to plug this into my PC. So this is a hard drive that I bought. So if I were to plug this hard drive into this console, it would not work. It would give me the E101 error, which is just nuts to me, but that's what it's doing. So I'll show you what I did to finally get it to work. Alright, so while I was scouring the internet to figure out Xbox One drives, I ran across this post from 6 years ago by A1DR1K. And in this post, he pointed to a video of a gentleman using a script to format Xbox hard drives. So that pointed me to this video from the channel XFix from 5 years ago. And in this, he describes how to use a script that they had developed to partition and increase the size of hard drives used for the Xbox. So I've watched it, understood what he was saying, so I will now show you what I did. So if I type CMD, as you know, I can't do CMD. I have to run command prompt as administrator to do this. So I'm going to select run as administrator, and so then I have to go to the directory that he specifies in the video. There's a file, so and I'll link this video in the description, but you can go to his OneDrive and you can download this script, and that script is called the Xbox One HDD Master, and he's on the 9th version. He says it says it hasn't been updated since 2019. So, but I used it and it worked fine for at least getting that 500 gig installed when it would not prior to. I just kept getting the E101 error. So I'm going to go to my I'm going to go to where I have that file stored. I don't know the full path, so I'm going to figure it out as I go. So just so you know, when you change directory in command prompt, for example, I know that the next thing is my username Saken, right? So if I hit SA and I hit the tab key, it finishes it for me. So, and in here I know that I'm going to have documents that are under here. So if I type documents, or if I type DO and hit tab, just like on a Cisco router, if you've ever configured that, it's the same concept. You hit tab and it'll finish spelling it out for you. And then within my documents, I have it in my Xbox One repair. So I hit XB, and if I hit tab, Xbox Games, Mod, and then Xbox One repair. And then within this, it is the master, the Xbox So those are all schematics. It's this folder here, and then within this folder, it's the Win folder. So in here, now what I want to do is I want to run the create xboxdrive.bat file. It's a batch file, and it will prompt me to do some things. So the first thing I'm going to hit enter. It goes through. It checks whatever available drive letters there are. I don't have to do anything but press any key. Now it asks me what I want to do. Do I want to replace or upgrade without a working original drive? And in this case, that is what I want it to do when I did it before. So I hit A. You could experiment with these other options, but this is what I used because that hard drive, the original hard drive, was bad. So I hit A. And then it asks me for the target drive that I want to configure. And in this case, it's going to be number 4, disk 4. So I'm going to go ahead and hit 4. I'm going to press enter. And it gives me a warning. Do you want to do this? Because it's going to erase all data on this disk. So yes, I do want to do this. Is it a 500 gig, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte? Well, this is a 1 terabyte, so I'm going to select option B. And it's going to go ahead and format this drive for me. And that's it. So now I should be able to go place this back into the console, and we should be able to install OSU 1. So this is the whole thing. I was so confused on OSU 1, OSU 2, and OSU 3. I was very confused about all of that. In this, I do this, and then I use OSU 1, and that works. So let's go back over to the console. Alright, so I have the drive that we just formatted and partitioned. So we will go ahead, unplug the drive that we know works, and we will plug in this new drive. And so we will insert our USB drive. We will turn the console on. Oh, I have to plug it in first. Okay, got it. Alright, so we will go ahead and power on the console. Let's switch over to the camera. It is pouring down rain outside. Well, let me tell you. Alright, so we'll go ahead and go down to troubleshoot. I've got an error E106, so I'm going to go ahead and go to offline system update. And notice what it does. It does what it's exactly what it's supposed to do. So when this completes, I will be back. Alright, as you can see, it has finished. So I'm going to go ahead and press the buttons that it tells me to press. And I am back at the, hey, you need to log in. So yeah, it's going to tell me to choose a connection. So let's do that. It's all good. US. Alright, so I'm not going to do the update, so I'll do that in a little bit. So yeah, so that's it, man. That is what I did to overcome that obstacle. And I tried, without doing what I just showed you, I used these 3 drives. All of them show up as good in Crystal Disk Info. I formatted them not just the quick format, but an actual, no kidding, the deep format option. I did it in command prompt. I assigned it a drive letter. I did it without assigning a drive letter, and I'd put it in the Xbox. I'd get an E101. When I would put this, after I had put this into the console, then I'd put it back into my computer. It would show up. It would have created all of the partitions like it's supposed to, but it just would not. It just would not even attempt to install the operating system. So, and I even bought a brand spanking new, which is the one I have in here. I bought a brand new one and tried that, and it still didn't work. So the only thing that fixed it was using the script that the gentleman from XFix made, and now it works every time. It's the simplest thing in the world. So yeah, if you ever have a problem configuring your hard drive for an Xbox One, yeah, go ahead and give that a try, man. So I'll link all that stuff down in the description. So yeah, hopefully you learned something. This is a working console. I could have saved myself a lot of time by just assuming maybe I should try the hard drive first instead of poking around at the HDMI for a little bit. But in any event, it's fixed now. So that's what I learned. I learned that the hard drive will in fact stop you from getting HDMI out. And I suppose that's just because based on the way it boots up. So yeah, so we're good, man. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and we will see you in the next one.